Hello and welcome to my video on the 2021 summer sets, all you need to know. So in this video I'll look at everything you need to know, from the ones that we have official images for, to the leaked ones, to the rumours. So I've kind of got a list of all these sets with their set numbers, and I will have like the kind of gaps for where each set is. So if you want to skip to certain sets, you can go back to this or pause the video to read through all this. And I've categorized them into a few sections, being the Mandalorian. There's 4 sets there, and I'll talk about those all exclusively. I'll also be doing this all in order, so that's a bit easier. The Clone Wars, so there's 4 sets as well, and then there's just your general ones that we would get anyway. I've kind of included the UCS Republic Gunship in both. So starting off with these 2 images, so there were 2 images from like a Japanese magazine, I believe, and this was the one from all the Clone Wars sets. We have official images for all these, so I won't be referring to this. The other one we do not have official images for, so I will be using this one quite a lot more. Problem is, it's decent quality, but then when you zoom in, it becomes very low quality, so that's a slight problem with this. So, starting off with the Advent calendar, this is from Ash and Flash's video, so if you want to check that one out. And we don't have like an official image, we just have this one, so you've got like the Razor Crest, and a bunch of the mini builds and minifigures, which I'll start off going through now. So first minifigure is a Scout Trooper, and there's not much to say about these. So there's Scout Trooper, Stormtrooper, like the Tusken Raider, which I think they're all Mandalorian based, I believe. Grogu / Baby Yoda / the Child, the Mandalorian or Din Djarin, not precisely sure how you pronounce it. I doubt that's perfectly pronounced. And IG-11 or IG-88, there's a bunch of different ones that are kind of similar. But anyway, so there's a bunch of sets you can see. Well, there's Moff Gideon's cruiser, and then there is a TIE fighter, a probe, well not a probe droid, like the medical droid, and really nice, this is my favourite, like the stud shooter for the Tusken Raider, which is like supposed to be his crossbow, or the other word for it, which has escaped my mind. And then you've got I believe it's a turret, which you also see in the Mandalorian, and then like a slay-coloured Baby Yoda contraption to carry him. Also, the Mandalorian does come with a scarf, which would make the minifigure exclusive, and that's quite a nice feature on it. Next is the Darth Vader Meditation Chamber 75296. I do have this in-depth video on it, so if you want to check that out, it'll be linked in the description. So this one is 75296, 663 pieces, and it was revealed a week ago-ish. So £60 or $70, which is pretty good value. And you can see it here, so it's on like a stand and it's circular. It is quite a nice circular build for not using like a massive circle piece. It's all built up. And you can see there, like the top part comes down to form this. And it also has a nice plaque. And you can see the inside best from this angle, so you can see there's a bunch of control panels and then a seat that swivels around. I believe it goes 360 degrees. Next is the 75309 UCS Republic Gunship for $350. I'm guessing its price in pounds will be £300, but most of these rumours only include the dollar price, so I'm just estimating. And you can see, well, this isn't the actual set, this is like some custom box art I made for it, and this is quite a smaller version. But apparently, so Solid Brick Studios had like an interview / call with some of the LEGO designers, and they gave them some information. So apparently they'll be twice the size of the LEGO version. Roughly, you would need a coffee table because it won't fit on shelves, and it'll be quite a massive set, definitely not minifigure scale. And those are some of the bits of information. Minifigures were supposed to be Mace Windu and a lieutenant, which was apparently, so fan favourites were Commander Cody or Jedi Bob, and I think LEGO should have done that, but sadly not. Next we have the 75310 Duel On Mandalore. I'll be doing an in-depth on this in the coming days, and it has 2 minifigures, Ahsoka and Darth Maul, and yeah, you can see it's got like the throne and the vault, I'm calling it, for Darth Maul. There are a considerable number of stickers on this set that I think should have been printed, especially with the piece count. I think they should have printed some elements that are stickers. and it is £18 and $20 for 147 pieces. You can see why I think they should have printed for the value. And minifigures. So the Ahsoka Tano seems to be the same as the one from the AAT 75283, and you can see that she has 2 lightsabers, and then she only has 1 in this image, which must be a mistake. And then you have Darth Maul, who's quite similar to the one that you get in the character encyclopedia, except from like his waist, which is where his body attaches with his metallic legs, is like different, and he doesn't have the necklace, but they are both really good minifigures. It's quite a good set. One that if you don't have either of these minifigures you'd buy, but if you do then I wouldn't advise buying it. But you can see here the throne room, it's got nice orange and dark grey, and then the vault. So yeah, the vault is quite nice. It's see-through, but so then you can see his head through it, which I do think is a good feature, and all the detail on it is quite impressive. I think it's more than I would have expected from Lego. Next is the 75311. So this is the Imperial Troop Transport, or the Trexler Marauder, and it is $40 or £35, I think. And I do not like this set. Just do not like it. Anyway, minifigures, Grief Karga. There is a mortar trooper and 2 stormtroopers. So 2 stormtroopers, fairly standard. You can see the Grief Karga and mortar there. Trooper aren't like really good images, but the mortar trooper, you have like an image of him here. He has like all the yellow markings. He doesn't have arm printing, but he does have a backpack, which is quite nice. And then you can see the Grief Karga. This is like a different version, slightly grayer mustache / goatee. And I think that yeah, minifigures are good. Set is dark grey. I think it should have been light grey. And it looks so boxy. I do not like it. In my opinion, it's the worst set of the wave. It does seem to come with, like you see, actually, I think that might be from the previous set, or the set below, which is a Tatooine thing, which I'll talk about a bit more later. But this is such a nicer model. It is so much details, more accurate, and it's light grey. Like, look at this. This isn't very low light. This is the type of image, but it's kind of in low light, so I think that's why Lego went with the dark grey. But then you can see this image here, it's light grey, and that's in proper lighting. But you can see it is just, the colours are off, the turret is terrible, it's very bulky. It just looks really weird. I do not like it at all. You really should have done something better. The minifigures are the only thing for this set. Like, when I heard about the set, Rumour, yes, good set, probably will buy it, because I like this design. Now I hate it. Really not a fan of this. Anyway, then you have the slave one, and this is a really good set. So £50 or $50 or £40, I think, and like for the value, it's really gonna be really good. So 2 minifigures, the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, which is from the Mandalorian. So the original rumor was it's gonna be from the Empire Strikes Back, but then it's not, and that's a really good thing from Lego. So you can see this image here, and they do both have arm printing, which is really impressive for Lego. But you can see this is like a previous version, and because the armor is much nicer because it's the Mandalorian version, and there's the Mandalorian. And you can see the set itself is really good. So 2 stud shooters, rotatability on like the front cannons, and the wings seem to rotate as it leans back because they're at a really good angle there. And you can see it is a really good set. It is quite similar to the one from the Cloud City, except from like there's some details. It's more detailed on that one, because I believe this one is mildly smaller. But you can see this is the one, like, I believe it's like the 20th anniversary or 20 years of Lego Star Wars one, and it's massive, and I do know a person who has this one, and it is quite cool. But I think this one like you see here, if you could afford it, you can buy it, but then Lego's kind of been doing these cheaper ones for people who don't want to spend all the money on the more expensive ones, which is something I like about Lego's like new grasp of Lego Star Wars. Anyway, next is the £800 or dollars, or maybe £800 as well. I'm not sure about the price on this one. UCS ADAT. That's probably going to be the most expensive, joint most expensive Lego set of all time. And this is a custom box that I've made, so it's the ADAT and 75313. and it'll be massive. So Lego said in an interview that they'd love to have done this set, like this is quite a while ago, but they couldn't make it balance because the weight would just collapse. So don't be expecting an interior, I wouldn't say, unless it's like quite hollow, because it'll need to be really well supported as well as like light at the top. So I don't know how they're gonna pull that off. Next is the Bad Batch attack shuttle, so in-depth, link in description. And this is in sand blue, and I'm going to talk about this later in the video. Well, actually no, in a different video I'll be doing some things about miscolored the summer sets. But anyway, so quite a nice set. I do like the way they've done custom Bad Batch box art. So they've kind of done with Bad Batch, they've done like their Bad Batch box art. Clone Wars, you've got Clone Wars box art. Mandalorian, you've got the Mandalorian box art, and then you've got your standard Darth Vader one. You can see here with the couple speeder bikes, and the back of the box has a lot of features actually. You can see all the minifigures without their helmets on, and so there's 6 minifigures being Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Echo, Crosshair, Gunk Droid. Would have liked to have seen Omega, considering she's now like a very like prominent figure in Bad Batch, but also the Gunk Droid does now make more sense considering you see it a bit. And yeah, Hunter and Echo and Crosshair all have normal Clone Trooper helmets, which isn't great, and Tech and Wrecker don't. Still not like, I do feel like Wreckers could have been better, but I do like all the minifigures. They just maybe cheaped out a bit. So set itself 2 speeder bikes. I do like the speeder bikes, but then the set is blue, sand blue, and this is I think to do with the original renders and images Lego were sent, because story reel of this set it was sand blue, and like all the other colors were right. So I think Lucasfilm made the decision to change the color, but must have not sent the images to Lego of the changed color, because Lego do plan their sets 2 years in advance. And I think this is what the kind of idea that they've gotten here, and this is why it's the wrong colour. Anyway, interior is quite small, but I do like the way it does fit all the Bad Batch members at the time anyway. And you can, it is a good set. If it was in grey, it would be a brilliant set. But yeah, not my favourite, but not the worst set of the wave. And you can just clearly see that is not sand blue in that image. And it does come with the 2 speeder bikes, and it is, it's just the sand blue. I kind of gotten used to it, but if you looked at this and said, if you brought somebody who'd seen the Bad Batch but a glimpse, and they would say, is that the Bad Batch shuttle? Because you wouldn't be entirely sure, kind of idea, if you know what I mean. Next is Moff Gideon's Imperial cruiser. $160. I believe is the rumoured price, and I'm guessing £140, so the prices are a bit more variable. And it comes with like a bunch of minifigures, and it does seem to come with like TIE fighters, so they're very, very small, and I'll talk about that more. But anyway, so this is like the one from the, I believe it's TIE Carrier, so this set, and you can see the scale. This is from the 2011 Advent calendar. It seems to be the same set, design as that, pretty much to the exact. But then they've just, done that. I don't really like it because the scale, it just makes it look, tiny in comparison to what it should be. And I think that's something Lego should maybe not do. And if they had done this, they could have at least included the Imperial Shuttle, which is quite an important part of that scene. Well, you can see it here is quite dark, and so Lego kind of done mainly light grey. When I originally saw the image, I thought they'd done dark grey, and I was really gonna get quite annoyed at that. But you can quite clearly see with the light on it, it's light grey, and it does look to be a nice set. I think the entire thing will lift off, the front part to see the cockpit area where Luke Skywalker walked in. But then so there's the blue. One thing that I thought Lego did, which was quite impressive, was there's blue lines, and they actually did that, but not intentionally, on the inside of the 2 points. But then you can also see the cockpit is really nicely done, and there's 2 cannons. The spring-load shooters do stand out quite a bit, but still for play features that's pretty good. And I do like the engines. The engines are quite nice. minifigures, 6 minifigures, Grogu the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, Fennec, Moff Gideon, Dark Trooper. So there's the Fennec minifigure with the orange top and the black bottom of her helmet, and the minifigure. You can't see details on these ones sadly, but you can kind of see the rough idea. Moff Gideon, which I believe will have the double-sided cape, so they did this for General Grievous ages ago, where he has a red side and then the black side, and he comes to the dark saber, and a Dark Trooper, which is pretty impressive for Lego. I do like the custom helmet, well at least I think it's custom. So you can see Fennec, and yeah, you can see Fennec there, I'm guessing she might come with a hairpiece, though I doubt it. Moff Gideon, and you can see his cape is black on the outside and that, so I think Lego will have done that. And you can see the Dark Trooper with the red eyes, so I believe it'll be a red headpiece underneath, and that's kind of how they do that. So yeah, really good free minifigures. The other three we've seen before, so you have Grogu, Mandalorian, who's in 4 sets, which I'm not really happy with, but I'll talk about that more later. And Cara Dune, I believe this will be the last time you see Cara Dune due to her getting fired by Lucasfilm and all that. But anyway, so yeah, good minifigures. Set itself is alright. Next is my favourite set of the wave, Mandalorian Starfighter. 7, 5, 3, 16, 544 pieces, 3 minifigures. So, back at the box you can see it's landed, and there's so much movement with the set. So the front part twists around, the wings fold up and down, and there's a lot of movement. Stud shooters and spring-loaded shooters, 2 minifigures in the cockpit, which makes sense. And then the minifigures are really good as well, but value is also there for £50 or $60, and that is a confirmed price. But the minifigures, Gar Saxon, Bo-Katan, and a Mandalorian loyalist. Should have said Death Watch Trooper, but anyway. Gar Saxon has a custom helmet piece, which I'll talk about more. Bo-Katan with the really, really nice head printing. And they all come with the same type of blasters, which is like Lego's take on the Mandalorian blast. They all have really good helmet printing. And I do like the Mandalorian loyalists, that they actually put a decent amount of effort into them. And they all come with gunmetal grey jetpacks. So the Gar Saxon minifigure is really cool. I really, really like the helmet. The horns are a bit short, but I think that's for stability, and I also talk about another reason at the end of the video. But the rest of the minifigure is really good. Probably the best minifigure of the wave. But yeah. Set itself is, you can see it's here landed with the wings slowed down. There's so many different ways you could display set. I wish it didn't come with a stand. But anyway, you can see it here. And it is, parts of it are slightly annoying, but it is a really slick set, and I think that's something Lego's done really well. Also, Bo-Katan does come with a hairpiece, so I think that's something, and face printing. I think Gar Saxon will as well. Don't think she comes with a hairpiece though, and the Mandalorian loyalist will probably just have a black head. Anyway, next is the Forger or the Armor, that kind of area. So this is the Armor area, and then you've got her, which I'll talk about more. And this is a really nice by Lego Mika. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's a really nice render of something. A similar idea. And I think this is kind of idea Lego do. They'll do the furnace and then the entrance. And I think something that Lego should do about the furnace is make it so you can remove it and then reattach things. But yeah, so at $30 the rumoured price, and I'm guessing £28 considering that was the price on Trouble on Tatooine. So anyway, you can see her being the armourer, and so I think the helmet will be the same as Gar Saxon, because the Gar Saxon minifigure, if you look at the sides, so you've got the front line, and then continue that round to the sides where it sticks out a bit. And then look at this helmet. That is the same. That is done for her specifically, because if you look at Gar Saxon, he doesn't have that. That is done for her specifically, because look at this image and then look at this one. And the horns are much shorter, which would make sense for this, but you can kind of see why that's done for him, and it kind of works for both. Anyway, Mandalorian, why not? They've thrown in so many other sets. Has Vizsla. And that is a good minifigure. I think they'll do the same with like Wrecker, with like the extended body armor. And yeah, interesting set. If you don't already have the Mandalorian, which by the end of this wave you probably will, it'll be an good set for you. So the whole wave is really good. I do like it a lot. I think there are some parts that I would change, a couple sets like that I would make better, or change, like the Imperial troop transport is the worst, I'd say, and the Mandalorian starfighter is the best. Anyway, main problem with the wave, the Mandalorian minifigure. There's 4 of him in the wave, which is just annoying, so if you want to buy the whole wave, you end up with 4 of these, and if you want to resell them, the value will decrease because they're so easy to get, which is a problem. Yeah, that's just my main problem with this wave. Anyway, do hope you have enjoyed this video. Please leave it a like, because it was a lot of effort to make. See you in the